In this lecture, we are going to start with the second type of analytical characters of plant community, which are called the qualitative characters. We described analytical characters into two categories, quantitative and qualitative. Qualitative were the characters which can be observed only and they are non-measurable. You cannot apply certain mathematical calculations to find out the output or the value. They are called qualitative characters. Now, amongst these, the first character that we are going to study today is stratification. We already had a brief reference of this term in your practicals where we studied profile diagram. Now, what is stratification? It is from the word strata. Strata means layers, and stratification means formation of layers. That is called stratification. So a phenomena of having more than one layer or stratum formed by different heights of plants growing in the same place. Means when you visit a plant community, it may be a grassland area, a forest community, a desert community. You may visit tidal zones. In all these zones, you will observe that the different layers of the plants, they are existing. You can find 5 to 7 layers in the forest where we observe maximum stratification. So on the basis of the height, the strata are defined. Generally, for example, if we talk about a rainforest, rainforests, you all know, they are evergreen forests and they are found in the region of tropical areas where there is high humidity, high temperature and high rainfall, and that's why they are lavish green areas where dense vegetation exists. So if we observe that area, we see there the topmost layer, which is called the emergent layer. It is slightly sparse because at the apex the canopy becomes little thin. Then we have canopy layer where maximum expanse or branches they are growing, and this is the most dense area. Next comes the understory or the shrub layer. So we may have small strature trees or shrubs, and forest floor where a lot of humus, litter, many microbes are existing, many insects varieties like centipedes, nematodes, many burrowing animals, they are found. Okay, so they are also living in association with plants. So this is how you can observe different layers in a community, and the formation of these layers is called stratification. Whenever you visit a forest community, the uppermost layer is constituted by trees. So this is called the dominant species there. Now trees, depending upon their height, they have been further categorized into the predominance, those which will be the tallest in that community, codominance, which will be slightly shorter, not much difference, few centimeters maybe, slightly shorter than the predominance, dominated trees, which will be medium sized and their height will be 3/4 of the predominance, and suppressed trees will be short strature trees and their height will be half of the predominance. So within this strata, the topmost layer of the trees, further there may be different sublayers depending upon the height of trees. Now in this diagram you can see here, this is the tallest one, so this is predominant. This is just close to the tallest species, so it is called codominant. Then you have dominance, which are of 3/4 height of the predominance. Then there are suppressed trees, which are almost half the height of the predominance. And the next strata is shrubs, tall herbs. You can have soil surface or forest ground cover. Okay, so they may form different layers or different strata. So basic thing here is, in this diagram you should know what is the difference between predominance, codominance, dominance and suppressed trees. Now what is synuicy, or these are also called unions? We observe that in a plant community, when we move from one place to another within same layer, for example, you are studying the layer of herbs, let's suppose, okay, strata of herbs, then you have the shrubs, then you have understories. Let's suppose we are talking about herbs. So when we study herbs at this place and at slightly different place, we will observe that the composition of plant changes. The composition of plants changes. And observe different groups. This is a separate group having different composition. This is a separate group having different composition. So these groups which are having variation in their composition and they are present along the same layer or same strata, they are called unions or synuicy. They may have same life forms, like I am talking about herbs. This is a group of herbs. This is also the group of herbs. The life forms are same. Okay, so these are called unions or synuicy. And even if you are observing this through various seasons at same place, like this place in summers, this place in winter, this place in autumn, okay, in different seasons, even at the same place the composition changes. So there is a change observed in unions. Understood? So what is synuicy or unions? We say that the composition of plants in a layer that may differ from place to place, though they have same life form. So that variation that results in formation of distinct groups, and these distinct groups are called unions or synuicy. Now just like the aerial parts of the plant, means shoot system, the underground part of the plant, that is the root system, that also shows stratification. You can see here, like these two plants are growing together. This is a dicot plant and this is a grass species, monocot plant. So they have their expense of roots towards surface more because they have the because more of the water is present in this layer. Whereas when we see towards the lower side, see, they are alternately adjusting their roots so that they can avoid competition and both the plants, they can coexist and get the sufficient water or nourishment or ions, whatever they want from the soil system. So this is how they are spreading themselves among different layers of soils. So that is called the stratification in root system level. So when we talk about the stratification between soil and organisms, so now I am talking about the soil system. Now I am not talking about the aerial part. So in the soil itself, we have microbiota. Micro, which are micron in size, which are microscopic, they are not observable under the naked eye. So we see here bacteria, algae, fungi, protozoans, nematodes, mites, etc. They form microbiota. Then slightly larger in size, they form mesobiota. For example, nematodes, centipedes, insects, you can observe them with the naked eye. And macrobiota means which are very large in size, and in this we have plant roots, because roots they cover in the soil, so it is considered under the stratification of zones between soil. Then we have earthworms, they are very large in size. Lizards you may observe, toads, rodents, some large mammals as burrowing animals, they also live there. Humans, they are also having their houses built up, set up there, or they may live in certain remote areas, so there are huts or caves, etc. So they form macrobiota, so which are very large in size. So this is how you can observe stratification between soil and organism. You can have different zones on the basis of their size. second qualitative character that we will discuss today is population, dispersion, and sociability. So firstly, we'll talk about what is dispersion. Dispersion simply means distribution. But now we are not talking about strata. It is not a vertical distribution. It is a horizontal distribution. So the distribution of plants in the horizontal space is called dispersion. So now basically we are going to see how in a horizontal level, means we are talking about same strata, how the plants they are arranging themselves. Is it a regular arrangement or clumped one? So that pattern is called dispersion. Broadly we have three categories. First is called regular dispersion. Regular dispersion is when the competition is severe. Okay, so you have to keep this thing in mind. When the competition is really very high in a community, then the organisms they tend to space themselves at the regular intervals. So there is a uniform distribution throughout the area. This is a figure for this. So you can have any number of dots to represent plant organisms. Like you have 30 dots and they are equidistantly placed. Then it is called a regular distribution. Whereas we have random distribution. Now random distribution is the one you all know. Random means disorder. Okay, so random means disorder. So when the arrangement is not regular, when there is some disorder in that, and when you will observe it, when the competition is absent or negligible, means environment is very, very favorable for the organisms. So there is no particular aggregation, rather you will have a random arrangement. So same 30 dots randomly distributed. This is when the competition is absent or negligible. Then comes we have another type of the random distribution, which is the clumped random distribution. Now clumped random means you will observe the group of organisms which are living together, means plants which are growing together, but in a random manner. There is no particular pattern of their settlements. So then we call it clumped random. Or you can have clumped uniform. Clumped uniform means they are existing in the form of patches, in the form of groups, which we will study under the gregarious behavior. Means they have the likelihood to stay in the groups, means they are social. Okay, so that is what is sociability. So in that case, but they are having a uniform pattern as well. So then this is called clumped uniform. Then we have the contagious type. Actually, these categories, they are under this contagious type. So in contagious we have the organisms, they grow in groups due to same habit. What I was saying, the gregariousness means they have a tendency to show a social behavior or the likelihood for the same kind of organism. So that is called the gregariousness. So when they are growing in the groups, and the reason maybe they have same habit, it may be the reproductive characters. Okay, so clumps are formed. So that is called the contagious type. So I told you the clumping that may be in the uniform manner. It may be in the random manner. So when you don't observe any pattern in their settlements, it may be a aggregated manner. Aggregated means you will have a specific pattern and all organisms, they will be in contact. So there is no gap of the landmass in between. Rather you will observe the plant community which is in a uniform pattern, in a aggregated form, and it will assume certain shape. So this is called, all these three types, they are called the contagious types. So once again we have a regular dispersion, means when the competition in the community is very, very high, so the organisms, they equidistantly space themselves. Then there is random dispersion, means the competition is least or negligible or absent in the community because of the favorable environment, enough resources available. So they have the regular arrangement. Then irregular or random arrangement. Then we have contagious type, in which the contagious means the plant organisms, they are growing in groups. So those groupings, they may be in the uniform form, they may be in the random form, or they may be in the aggregated form. So this is called dispersion. Second is sociability. What we call is gregariousness. Gregariousness means it is a likelihood of an organism, here we are talking about plants, to stay with organisms of its own type. Okay, the social behavior. So this we observe in plants also, as we see in the human beings. Similarly, we see in case of plants. Sometimes you see the plant shoot is growing singly. It is not allowing other plants to grow in the vicinity by producing certain chemicals. Or you may observe that some plants, they always grow in tufts. They grow in groups. Okay, so that is their social behavior. So we have different types for it. We have classified into 5 different categories. First is called the shoot grow singly. So that is called the S1 type, where you will observe single shoot growing at a place. Then there may be tufts or groups of 4 to 6 plants. We call this type of sociability as S2 type. There may be more than 6 plants, or that you observe patches, okay, or cushions, called S3 type. There may be large patches which are broken at few places in between by landmass. That is called S4 type. And the one which is covering the entire area, the pure population of a plant type, that is called S5. So depending upon how many number of plants they are coexisting, they are showing gregarious behavior, the sociability is further classified into 5 types. If they are growing singly, we call it S1. If they are in small groups of 4 to 6, we call S2. If they are in the form of patches or cushions, we call it S3. If they are covering large areas but in between there are broken gaps, then we call it S4. And if the area is covered entirely, there is a complete patch over that area of the same kind of organisms, then we call it S5. So this was all about dispersion and sociability. Now the third qualitative character is floristic composition. As the name suggests, it means the composition or the type of flora existing at a particular place. Right? When we talk about community, what is community? That is the number of species of organisms. So we have small populations of different species at a particular place coexisting, then we call it community. So how to study a plant community? We observe the floral composition there. We observe the type of plants existing there. Now how it is done? What is the method which is used? It is by collection. You visit a particular area, you collect the plants from there, you collect the specimens from there, then you identify those plant species. And what method is used? We can have quadrat or transect method. This is the line transect method. I'll explain you at the end of this chapter. Quadrat you already know. So by these methods, we are going to sample the areas, and from there the plant species, the number will be noted, the cover can be counted, right? All these characters which will be later on used to define the floristic composition. So it is deriving information from the quantitative characters. So it's a kind of qualitative character. We cannot have any formula for this. Okay. So we simply find out what is the composition there. So then we identify plants. Now it is not possible to identify each and every plant growing in that area, because we may have variety of species in the area. So in that case, botanists, what they do, they have a tendency to identify or keep a record of vascular plants or the dominant species in that area. But if you are talking about the alpine or arctic communities, where we know the ranges of flora, that is mostly from the ground layer. Okay, they don't have the tree species there, much of the tree species in that area. So there you have to observe the cryptogams. They are very, very important, because different species of cryptogams, they may be growing in those areas. So cryptogams like lichens and mosses, their record is to be kept if you are studying the information or floristic composition of an alpine or arctic community. But otherwise, if you are visiting the normal forest areas, then you can have a record of vascular plants and dominant species, as well as you should keep a record of the dominant plants of each strata. Okay, let's suppose that forest community is having 4 to 6 strata. What is the dominant plant species of strata 1, strata 2, 3, 4, 5, so on. So you should have a record of that. Now proportion of each is determined Why this is done? Because whenever you find any change, let's suppose you visited there in year 1, year 2, year 3, then after 5 or 6 years you observe there are certain changes in the composition. It means this indicates there are certain adverse conditions in that area. They may be the natural, maybe the man influenced, like natural, like forest fires may be there. Volcanic activities may result in such kind of changes, or man-made like overgrazed grasslands. They will also show that some of the dominant species, they are declining. Okay, so that trend will be observed, and that may point towards any kind of the undesirable environmental change. So that is a significance of studying the floristic composition, that over the years, whatever drastic changes in the composition are appearing, what reasons are behind that. So that may be studied through this character. So that's all for today. I hope you understood all 3 qualitative characters very well.